Welcome back, everybody. It is April 12th, 2018, 6:33 a.m. Quick update for you guys as far as our weekend weather that is about to basically wreak havoc from all the way from east side of Texas and then eventually making its way to every single state in the Northeast and the East Coast combined. Some of the Great Lakes states mixed in with that as far as some winter weather goes. We spoke about this a little bit yesterday. We have a little more data to show. There is a severe threat, no doubt now at this point, confirmed by Weather Channel and other pretty big weather sources, that there will be a pretty severe tornado threat going on in Tornado Alley. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at a couple different things. This is the chart for Friday. Now basically how this chart works is the center area, the deeper color, that is the most severe threat, with a secondary threat as the yellow, so on and so forth. As the colors get more and more faded, it's less and less of a threat, but we need to keep in mind this entire system is moving west to east. So as we get more data, it will show for Saturday the severe threat will probably be more likely in this area, and then as it gets to the northeast, or the East Coast rather, this deep threat here is going to stay more to the south based on temperatures, but this thing is going to bring a lot of rain. Not only that, but the severe weather is being talked about on a lot of different websites and web channels. I'm not going to play this video, but I freezed it on this frame to show you where the big threats of damaging winds, very large hail, and strong thunderstorms will be. And it's basically the same layout as this map here, just a little bit more flat. You could tell this one's a little curved because it's a globe model, so don't get confused. Excuse me. These same states will be in major threat. That is Texas, obviously Louisiana, Arkansas, up through Missouri. I think this is going to be a lot more expanded than they're showing here. That's just my opinion. I'm saying that because we have two systems meeting at the same time. We have a big moisture system moving in from, basically it's a mixture of Baja and Pacific Ocean moisture mixed with the Gulf moisture that's flowing up this way, and then we have a winter system. It's a moisture system, but the cold air from Canada makes it a winter system moving down from Washington, Oregon, Northern California at the same time, basically meeting in the center of the U.S., and then once the jet stream gets a hold of it, it's going to whip it right up into the northeast. There could be some pretty significant coastal issues for North and South Carolina that may go up into the Chesapeake Bay and New Jersey, depending on temperature and depending on where this low pressure system is going to be. That's the key to this, is wherever the low pressure is, usually the highest winds are right around that central low pressure system, just like a hurricane. About 75 miles outside the eye of a hurricane are the most dangerous areas. It's really no different with these big systems that are moving across the U.S. We looked at this part here. Again, these are current temperatures. Basically, as you get a little bit west, just under the Great Lakes, things begin to warm up, and then as we get into Texas and the flatter areas, we got 60s and 70s. Pretty cool in Florida this morning. Nothing too crazy. Southern Florida's pretty warm right now. Those temperatures will rise. This weekend in the Northeast, we're supposed to get some pretty high temperatures, but then followed by that is that big system moving west to east. So as this system moves, it's pushing that warm air. Excuse me. We get that dip in the jet stream, things will cool down a little bit, but it's going to be a big rainmaker, and this is why. This is actually the setup for Sunday, so I'm going to back you guys up and show you why Friday is going to be the severe part of this, at least for the Central Plains, Louisiana going up. Right now we're at the 12th. This is current time here. We do have a system moving over the Great Lakes as we speak, may affect areas of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Eventually will, with a little bit of snow on top. Maybe the northern areas of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire might get clipped. Maine looks like you may get something from this. It depends on how low this wants to go right here. That's the low pressure system here. We'll have some pretty decent winds on this part of this system as well. Now I'm going to back up here, and what I want you to watch is over by Colorado now, because this is the system that we really need to focus on. It's going to bring the severe weather to the center part of the country. So this is going to pass by the end of tomorrow, and then the beginning of tomorrow is when things start to flare up. Again, we spoke about this yesterday. Not much has changed, but just look at how these lines are so close together by the low pressure system. 983 over land. That's a pretty big deal. Lots of wind. There will be snow in South Dakota, North Dakota, east sides of Montana, Wyoming, it looks like. We got Colorado in there. Obviously, the Rockies will get snow. There's no doubt about that. But what I want you to notice we're also going to show on this chart here is how these two systems are merging together. We have this system that we just looked at that's passing over today. It'll be done by Friday. And then this is the big guy right here moving across Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana right now, making its way into North, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. There, I got it. It's going to move west to east, and then just as it gets right here, you're going to start seeing a big band of moisture being pulled up from the Gulf. Look at these temperatures in the Gulf. Gulf is very warm right now. That's why we got those early mornings warm temperatures in Florida right now, where you see those reds, and then yellow, blue, so on and so forth. We got cloud cover as well. But this green you see in here is heavy moisture, guys. So this is going to be the main source of the storm, and then it's going to get fueled by the Gulf, a little bit by the Baja, and then by the time it gets to the northeast, that low pressure may be pulling moisture out of the Atlantic Ocean as well and turning it counterclockwise onto the northeast. So we may have a good solid 3 days of rain in the northeast, which is about a day longer than I thought. But as the data comes in, things change, guys. This is weather. Weather is a constantly changing thing. It's very hard to predict, but that's what we try to do here. We just learn about what's going on in the atmosphere, and we try to get a good idea about where this stuff is going. So back to tropical tidbits, and then I'll let you guys go. As we move into the first part of Saturday, that's where our severe threats are going to also be. It does say these are starting Friday, but it's going to be Friday overnight into Saturday where this begins, and you see that first strip right there going from Texas into Louisiana. Also, as we move forward, one more 6-hour strip here. That's when things get very interesting. So this doesn't mean it's going to be just on Friday the 13th, which is, what a great day to have a storm, obviously. Louisiana, moving up into Arkansas, the west coast, the southwest coast of Missouri, you will be right in that tornado situation, and the bottom part of Illinois as well. You can see this area is covering exactly what we looked at on this chart here. We're getting parts of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Missouri, and this is going to kind of mold to the east, and that's where we need to keep an eye on the states like Illinois, Indiana, and then Kentucky and Tennessee. There were some questions about if you guys are going to be involved in this. Absolutely. This is going to be a big situation for you guys as well, because you could see here on Tropical Tidbits, with only 3 days out, they got that severe weather crossing over Mississippi and Alabama. And you can see as it moves west to east, the severe part of it kind of stays to the south, but then there's a strip that moves all the way up as we move into Sunday. This would be the second half of Sunday. A lot of severe weather moving across anything north of Lake Okeechobee in Florida, and that's when Georgia and South Carolina will get their severe weather. Will be early Monday, with a strip of that touching into South North Carolina and Virginia. West Virginia, you got some spotty stuff going on. And then as we get into Monday, guys, the beginning of the work week for anyone in the Northeast, that's where we have to be aware of this. North and South Carolina, you see these bands here. That's what I'm worried about, the coastal issues. A lot of wind, a lot of rain, heavy downpours, stuff of that nature. Now we have Central PA completely covered in yellow and orange. Someone asked me to explain the yellow and orange. When we're looking at this chart here, this is a precipitation chart. You want to look at where the rain is. Snow is blue. So these are blue areas. You would match with the first snow down here. So we're talking 1 to 3 inches is what this color looks like to me. And then as we move up into the rain areas, you see the band here. That's the sleet and freezing mark right here. Because when you have snow and rain, you always have a mix usually in the middle. And then with the rain, the yellows and the reds and the oranges, that would be right up here. And this goes by inches, guys. So these yellow parts, 4 inches of rain up to 10 inches of rain we are looking at in these parts of this chart here, and that's Central PA. As we move forward, you can see that kind of drags across Northeast PA, and then basically as we get to Tuesday now, and a day after we talked about yesterday, this thing begins to lift off, but the wind is going to stay. We're going to have almost a full windy week, regardless if there's rain or not in the Northeast. And you can even see some of that snow, maybe a dusting 1 to 2 inches beginning on Tuesday, pushing down north to south over the Great Lakes through Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky, and then West Virginia. This will be possibly a dusting of snow for you guys in the western parts of PA. And then as we move out into Tuesday, the later areas of Tuesday, and into Wednesday, could be a little bit of snow in New York, guys. Probably nothing to be named. If this storm is going to get named, it's going to get named right about here, which would be the day after tomorrow or even tomorrow. And this would be Winter Storm Xanto, which is Z. So, or not Z, X rather. We're at letter X, unless Xanto's already happened. No, it hasn't. They were going to name it Xanto, but they didn't. So we have letter X, and then we have Yvonne, and then Z. I forgot what Z was. I know I did a video on it. But there we have it, guys. This is going to be our situation for the next 5-6 days. Severe weather all the way from west sides, or the east side of Texas, straight up into the Great Lakes, and then everything to the east is going to be completely saturated with this storm. In some cases, we're getting snow with this. All right, guys? So I just wanted to touch base and update you on that. This is what it looks like from a higher elevation. If we back it up here, we could see that first rain system we're getting through Friday the 13th, which is tomorrow. That's going to be right here. And then right after that, guys, is when things start picking up in Texas, and then we got to start watching the middle of the country for those big tornado outbreaks, hail, wind, rain, you name it. There won't be much snow involved with this until we get kind of closer to the Great Lakes, and then we could talk more about the snow. But you could just see that low pressure system with the big circles around it. That's what we need to look out for. Those low pressure systems are what are very strong, bring the long, big, strong thunderstorms, the hail, the sleet, and then look at those deep purples, guys. We look for those during hurricane season as well, and this is why I'm concerned about North and South Carolina coastal areas. Alright, guys, don't want to keep you here too long. I'm going to do another video this afternoon, as this is developing pretty quickly. A lot of things are going to change, and we'll start getting our tornado warnings, and we'll start getting the word out to people and let them know what they need to look out for. Alright, everyone, have a great morning. I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.